Imagine dedicating your life to a sport, climbing from local races to the Olympics, only to feel like you left too soon. That's the story of Lisa Brambani, a cycling prodigy who broke the mold, but also carries a tinge of regret. Get ready to dive into her inspiring, yet bittersweet journey. So far today, I've clocked 32,500 steps. I typically average around 37,000. I was up running on Ilkley Moor earlier, and it was absolutely fabulous, says a vibrant Lisa Brambani, speaking via video call from her cozy Yorkshire home. At 58, Lisa and her husband, Michael, settled in a year ago after an extensive restoration project. It seems extreme DIY and garden design have become her new passions, so much so that she even restored her daughter Abby Mae Parkinson's house a few years back. Lisa's cycling journey began unexpectedly. My dad took me to the Ravensthorpe Cycling Club one Sunday morning and essentially left me with this group of men. We ended up riding about 110 miles. When I finally made it home, I practically collapsed up the driveway with my bike. My parents were certain I wouldn't be going back. This early experience, though grueling, ignited a passion that would define a significant chapter of her life. Before cycling, Lisa excelled in swimming. A swimming pool was built in her village, and the center manager encouraged children to compete. Lisa quickly proved to be a natural and won several competitions. It's almost like history repeating itself, as her daughter Abby would later follow a similar path of sporting success, nearly 30 years later. But here's where it gets controversial. Was it the supportive environment or sheer raw talent that propelled them both? Around the time Lisa felt she'd reached her peak in swimming, a neighbor suggested she try cycling. Recalling her first ride with the Ravensthorpe Cycling Club, Lisa says, "My dad took me to the club one Sunday morning and left me with this group of men. We rode about 110 miles on the flat lanes around York. I was out until about 6 o'clock. When I finally got home, I staggered up the drive with my bike, and my parents thought I wouldn't be going back. But they underestimated her determination. Lisa loved the challenge and the camaraderie. I really got along with the group of lads," she says. In fact, it was within this very group that she met Michael, her future husband. The couple recently celebrated their 30th wedding anniversary. Lisa's Sundays transformed into trips across the country for races, with her father embracing his new role as support crew, often witnessing his daughter's victories. My mum would usually stand at the garden gate at tea time waiting for us to return, and to see if there were flowers in the car to show that I'd won. There usually were. As Lisa rose through the ranks in the early 1980s, the top British female cyclists, Maria Blower, the Swinnerton sisters, Bernadette and Catherine and Linda Gornall, were laser-focused on the inaugural Olympic road race in Los Angeles. And this is the part most people miss. Their focus on the Olympics unintentionally opened up opportunities for rising stars like Lisa on the domestic circuit. Lisa seized the moment, and her success was far from a fluke. She even beat the Olympians upon their return to Britain. Her fearless, aggressive riding style became her trademark at a time when team tactics were virtually non-existent. The fact that she often didn't know much about her rivals' form or experience actually worked to her advantage. Races came thick and fast, with events like the Burton Series and Women's Cycle Racing Association Series providing top-tier competition almost every weekend. It's not like today, where you have to go to Belgium for top-level competition, Lisa points out. Gaining recognition on the national stage, Lisa attracted interest from Manchester wheelers, but she remained loyal to her Ravensthorpe clubmates, who consistently showed their support at her races. Europe beckoned. Lisa vividly remembers a dramatic victory at the 1986 National Road Race Championships. "I attacked and took Vicky Thomas with me, and we came into the finish together. Then she took me into the gutter and brought us both down. So there we were, 100 from the line, both on the floor." Lisa's team quickly helped her up and back on her bike before Thomas could recover. "I crossed the finish line first, without my shoes and my pedals, and my knees and elbows running with blood. If Vicky had won, she would have been relegated anyway, as the officials said she hadn't stuck to her racing line." Amateur women cyclists like Lisa didn't earn salaries or prize money. She supplemented her income by working in her father's butcher shop. If she was lucky, She might win a pair of tights or bathroom scales. Things began to change around 1985 when Lisa met racer Val Rushworth, who secured her funding from Yorkshire and Humberside Council and also became her coach. Previously, my training had been trial and error, says Lisa. On race days, my dad would cook me an extra bit of beef and some pork. But after a while, it just got too heavy for me, and I realized we needed another solution. Val was the single biggest influence on my career. Rushworth studied training manuals and persuaded Lisa that porridge was a better pre-race breakfast. Besides nutrition advice, Rushworth provided motorcycle pace training and connected Lisa with the Bradford lads, including Dave Rayner, Bernie Burns, and David Mann, who became her training partners for long rides across the Yorkshire Dales. It was also thanks to Rushworth that Lisa began racing internationally, including at the inaugural Giro Donne in 1988, where she finished 9th. Soon after, Lisa spent 2 years racing for the Weight Watchers team in the United States. I loved racing for that team, she says. It was rock and roll, everything that racing wasn't in the UK. We got great prize money, great support, fabulous kit, fabulous bikes, a big van, and we had a mechanic, a masseuse, a manager, and had a great sponsor. The results followed. It was the best team in America. We won loads of money because, while I cleared up on the stage races, we had sprinters who would clear up in the crits. Lisa competed at the 1988 Seoul Olympics, but the experience fell short of her expectations. I'd finished 5th in the World Championships the year before, so I went into the Olympics with high expectations, she remembers. It was a flat course that just didn't suit me, and I finished 11th. It was a huge disappointment. After returning to Britain in 1990, Lisa participated in the Commonwealth Games in Auckland, New Zealand, and then made the decision to retire, despite being only 23. I'd lost too much weight being in America, she explains, and I felt I couldn't race on the UK scene again. So that was the end of that. I didn't have anybody advising me, and it was a big regret that I finished so prematurely. In hindsight, she wishes she had given the Olympics another shot. I really regret not staying on to do Barcelona, as that course suited me much better than Seoul had. This is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Did the pressures of professional sports and body image contribute to her early retirement? Choosing not to dwell on the disappointment of her career ending too soon, Lisa focused on family life and a career in corporate sales at the newly opened Forte hotel near her village. She avoided cycling altogether until her daughter Abby discovered the sport as a teenager. This rekindled old connections, and Lisa rejoined her circle of cycling friends, many of whom also had children racing, and she enjoyed being involved again, particularly watching Abby's generation reach new heights. Lisa still follows professional cycling closely. World champion Lotte Kopecky, a former teammate and friend of Abby, and fellow Yorkshirewoman Kat Ferguson are among her favorite riders, as well as Pauline Ferrand-Prevet, Anna van der Breggen, and Marianne Vos. What does she think of the evolution of women's racing? I would have liked to race the modern calendar, as it includes the classics, which would have really suited me, but I'd want to do it old-school style, aggressively, attacking off the front from early on and with no team orders. This raises a compelling question. Is modern cycling too structured and tactical, stifling the raw talent and spontaneity of riders like Lisa? While she admires the talent and opportunities in today's peloton, Lisa worries that the sport risks losing some of its spontaneity. As someone whose career was built on fearless attacks and instinct, she would have relished the chance to test herself on the classics courses. Yet, as she watches the next generation, including her daughter's peers, she's content to be a spectator, passing on the lessons of a career that began on a Yorkshire club run and took her all the way to the Olympic Games. What I wish I'd known then. I wish I had appreciated my achievements more at the time and realized how big a deal it was winning the races I did. When I raced in the Giro Donne, I didn't even know it was the inaugural event. I was so naive. I finished 9th overall, which was incredible, as I was only 19. I also did well at the Tour de l'Aude, which was a big event in those days. In my first year there, I got to wear the climber's jersey for a day, and the year after that I was 3rd behind Maria Cannons and Jeannie Longo. I didn't know much about cycling, I just happened to be good at it. I didn't even watch much cycling in the Olympics. If I had